Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mark Ellert here. Today, I'm going to talk to you about healthy communication. Now, when I say healthy communication, I'm not talking about like, dude, I'm the king of texting. I'm texting all day. Facebook, I'm posting like a madman, baby. I'm communicating. Dude, my phone, I have 8 out of 4 bars. Best signal in the world, baby. Mwah, fabulous. Babu. I'm not talking about that communication, baby. I'm not talking about come back to me now, HQ. I'm talking about honest to God, one on one, real communication. It's really good that we use our language, everyone, when we're trying to communicate with people, either using our language or if you speak with your hands, you're doing hand language. That's what it is, everyone. Language is important. Communication is important. Some of you may know a little bit about my background. For the longest time, I had really, really bad communication. I had a hard time with it. I didn't know how to communicate things very well to people. So some of you may know miraculously I survived an attempted suicide almost 20 years ago. That suicide attempt was me just trying to communicate some things. But I learned over the years there's much healthier, better ways to communicate things. That's why I've never attempted again and never will, everyone. I learned good, healthy communication. Like, check this out. When you're hanging out with your friends, with your family, your coworkers, your significant other, healthy communication is important. Because, I mean, it helps people understand you and your needs, and it helps you to be able to convey your needs so they're met. Like, for instance, when you're hanging out with someone, you're like, hey, man, where do you want to go for lunch today? You say, I don't care. It's up to you. That's like, that leaves them completely dumb. How do I respond to this? See, we think we're being nice by saying, hey, totally up to you. Go for it, man. But if anything, that puts more pressure on the person. The person's asking you because they're trying to be nice. They're trying to ask your input and see what you would like to do for lunch because maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know what they want to do. So they're hoping that you can help put some input. But instead, you're like, hey, totally up to you. So now we're putting it on them. This person is responsible for making the choice for 2 people now. So they're going to be like, makes them a little uncomfortable. Makes them uncomfortable that we're not saying what we do or don't want, how they should or shouldn't respond. It's more likely for people to avoid us. Everybody, it happened to me all the time. It's easy for people to avoid us when we don't communicate things healthy. It's because they just don't know what you're thinking. They're not going to read your mind. They're not going to know, is he trying to be nice? Does he just not know himself? It's really good to communicate what you're feeling so people aren't trying to figure you out and read your mind. And it's good for both parties to be happy. That's why everybody communication is important. For the longest time, I used to do bad, unhealthy communication. It's like some of you may know 20 years ago, my attempted suicide, I felt disrespected. I felt disrespected and hurt, so I was trying to convey that to people. But without saying that didn't really convey anything. Because, man, most of those people 20 years ago who I felt disrespected by basically either A, still disrespect me or just walked out of my life. So it really, really didn't help what I was trying to do. Everyone, I used to do self-harm to try to communicate things. Like when people would disrespect me or hurt my feelings, I already felt unloved. I already felt unloved and hurt by them. So I was afraid about confronting it because I was afraid about the way that they were going to react even farther. I thought I'd be even more disrespected. So I basically tried to just express myself physically so they could possibly, I could just be able to let go. I could just have my emotional let go and just, let off some steam and then hoping that they would actually notice in my body language or what I was doing so it could communicate for me. But that doesn't really communicate things. That's mostly people like, what is Mark doing? They don't really know what you're trying to say unless you say it. And then, for instance, everyone, the way I would communicate things was self-harm. I would hurt myself. If I'm hurting myself, if people disrespect me and hurt my feelings, I just walk away and go hurt myself and come back and act like nothing's wrong. It's not going to make it easy for people to want to apologize or try to make things right. They're just going to be like, what's wrong with Mark? What just happened? I don't know. They're not going to know if they disrespected you or hurt you. They're not going to know how to make it right unless you try to convey that. If you just walk off and hurt yourself, all you're doing is hurting yourself further and perpetuating the situation. Because also, everybody, it's going to be easier for people, unhealthy people, to be attracted to that kind of behavior. When you don't stand up for yourself, when you don't state your needs and everything, it's going to be easy for manipulative, narcissistic people to be attracted to that. They're going to be like, Mark doesn't say anything. I'm going to be able to use him and get whatever I want out of him. It's really good, everyone, to have good self-respect and communicate your needs and what you want. Because again, with body language, people aren't going to really know what that means. It's going to be easier for people to be uncomfortable and walk away and be like, wow, I don't know if I hurt Mark's feelings or if he's just flipping out for no reason. They're not going to know. So they're not going to know how to make it right again. People can't read your mind. When you're not going to read your mind and know what you want for lunch, they're not going to read your mind when you walk away and start beating up an inanimate object or beating up a wall and just yelling at the walls. That's not communicating what you need to. Is it helps let off some steam, everybody. It helps us feel good, but it's not really communicating what we need to. I've learned life lessons learned the hard way, everyone. 20 years ago, after surviving my suicide attempt, I've learned healthier, better ways to communicate. I've never attempted again and never will. I don't do self-harm. When someone upsets me, I don't go walk away and hurt myself and come back and be like, hey, it's all good. We're cool. You know, I try to tell people when I get hurt and disrespected so they know and so it doesn't happen again. And so I feel good about myself too. I feel good about myself setting the bar up there, knowing what my needs and that I'm a human and I deserve to be treated like that. It makes me feel good to set that bar and state those things. And it's good when people actually reciprocate that. When people literally notice I love and respect myself, they love and respect me too. Everybody, healthy communication is a good thing. Trust me, people aren't going to get it when you're beating up that inanimate object yelling at it. They're not going to hear what you're trying to say. Don't hurt yourself and don't just go let off steam. It's really good to communicate healthy, everyone. Healthy communication. Use our language. We have our language for a reason. Use your words, use your hands, however you're going to communicate, do your thing. Communicate, and everyone, my people with special needs, that's most important. We communicate our special needs. We can't blame ourselves. We can't, just because our differences, we can't put the bar lower and just not communicate those things. We deserve our needs, everybody, and so it's really great to communicate those, everyone. And everybody, I've learned how to communicate and love myself and do what I need to. You can do the same thing, everybody. Healthy communication, baby. That's what's up. Everybody, until next time, keep it sexy, making choices. I'll catch you on the flip side.